Which government organization has over 400,000 volunteers, generates $30 billion in economic benefits, and is located in every single U.S. state and U.S. territory? The National Park Service. National parks have a strong history and still provide awesome benefits to this day. The National Parks Service mission is to protect and preserve the national wonders of this great country for present and future generations. Because they have done so, future generations will be able to enjoy some of the national wonders with minimal deterioration. So we're going to talk about a brief history of the National Park System and then understand what the park system does and what it encompasses. So why was the National Park System created? According to travel.nationalgeographic.com, in 1915, a millionaire industrialist named Stephen Mather began a crusade to establish the a service to protect and preserve the national wonders of this nation. He garnered support from titans of industry as well as school children, newspaper, and even the National Geographic Society. And according to the History e-Library on the nps.gov, by August of 1916, the Department of Interior oversaw 14 national parks, 21 national monuments, and the hot springs and Casa Grande Rune reservations. Also, according to PBS.org, the national parks actually started out with military involvement. But through this implementation, there was a lack of leadership, there was confusion, and there was no real authority as to what would happen if someone were violating, if someone was destroying the nature within the park. They didn't really have the authority to really do anything except for maybe kick them out of the park. So where did the National Park System come from? Well, the first national park was actually Yellowstone National Park, and it was established by an act signed by Ulysses S. Grant on March 1st, 1872. From there, a few other national parks were established, and in 1916, on August 25th, President Woodrow Wilson actually created the National Park System. This act was also referred to as the Organic Act. And oddly enough, Mather, the one who garnered for the National Park Service, actually became the first director and began to work with a mandate to protect the parks for the, quote, unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations. Okay, so what do national parks currently encompass? The National Park System covers more than 84 million acres in every state, the District of Columbia, American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. The National Park System encompasses national parks, monuments, battlefields, military parks, historical parks, historic sites, lake shores, seashores, recreation areas, scenic rivers and trails, and the White House. So what does it do? Well, the view of the current director, Jonathan B. Yarvis, is, according to nps.gov, America's National Park System, quote, America's National Park System is a gift from past generations to this and succeeding generations. The National Park System's current mission statement is, quote, the National Park Service preserves unimpaired the natural and cultural resources and values of the National Park System for the enjoyment, education, and inspiration of its future generations. The Park Service cooperates with partners to extend the benefits of natural and cultural resource conservation and outdoor recreation throughout this country and the world. So in conclusion, the National Park Service, which was created in 1916, has served past, current, and future generations by protecting and preserving our national wonders. And I'll leave you with this. David Barna, the National Park Service Chief of Public Affairs, stated, and quote, Americans developed a national pride of the natural wonders in this nation, and they believed that they rivaled the great castles and cathedrals of Europe. So go out and visit one. They're amazing places to camp, hike, and learn more about nature's history and wonders.